One of the biggest debates right now in the internet wrestling community is what should main event WrestleMania 40? Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns or The Rock versus Roman Reigns? One AEW star has given his opinion on what he thinks should main event WrestleMania and why it should not be Dwayne Johnson. Also, Samoa Joe speaks up about the all-in incident between CM Punk and Jack Perry with Sports Illustrated. Keith Lee confirms 2 surgeries that will keep him off TV for several months. And Grayson Waller gets into it with a disrespectful Australian TV host where I don't know if it was a shoot or a work. All this plus so much more right here on Off the Script. But first, a word from my sponsor today, Magic Mind. Guys, I got a confession to make. I am a huge coffee connoisseur. I am. I love coffee. I love a good cup of coffee. It's my kryptonite, actually. But I've come to realize that caffeine doesn't actually give you energy. It blocks the adenosine neuroreceptors in your brain and the neuroreceptors that tell you that you're tired. When the receptors unblock, 1 to 3 hours later, you experience what they call caffeine crash. Now, the matcha in Magic Mind prevents the full blocking of receptors, giving you sustainable energy without a crash. I have looked for alternatives for a very long time, man, and Magic Mind fell into my lap, and it was basically love at first sight. I love this little green bottle. I drink it in the morning. I drink it before I go live to give you guys the best podcast in the entire wrestling community. I drink it before I go to the gym to give me that little extra boost I need when I'm doing my workouts. This little green bottle has helped me fix and improve in several areas of my life. No more procrastination. I'm more focused. I get more done during the day without that midday nap or that midday crashing. No more anxiety. I cut back on the coffee, now back down to normal levels. These are the benefits that I've noticed by using Magic Mind for almost a month, and clearly you see that I love it. Half of this box, this is my second box, is already gone. Now, if you guys are going through the same thing that I'm going through, I would absolutely recommend to you that you try Magic Mind. And only this January, Magic Mind is going to help you gear up to crush your 2024 New Year's resolutions by being fully focused. Listen to this. You can get 1 month for free when subscribing for 3 months on their website. That's right. Get 1 month for free at magicmind.com/JANJD from NY. Once again, that's magicmind.com/JanJD from NY. And use my promo code JDNY. It's an extra 20% off, which gets you 75% off. This only lasts until the end of January, so hurry up before it all goes away. And I want to thank Magic Mind for once again supporting the podcast right here on Off the Script. We'll start with Keith Lee. In my honest opinion, Keith Lee came in with all of the hype surrounding him, and for good reason. He was very, very good in what he did when WWE had him on NXT during the black and gold era. There was an aura of excitement around him when he hit the main roster, and then all of a sudden, Vince McMahon decided to put bear claws on Keith Lee, and then goodbye, his career was finished. They let him go. He was released. He ends up in AEW. Everybody's excited. We're going to get the Keith Lee that we should have got in WWE, and Tony Khan did nothing with him. Keith Lee ended up being one of the biggest disappointments in all of AEW since the beginning. It's not really Keith Lee's fault. Tony Khan didn't really do much with him in those beginning phases anyway. And now we're going to be without Keith Lee for quite some time. He says, time to get fixed. He's undergoing double surgeries. 1 leg, 2 legs, it's irrelevant, says Keith Lee in a post shortly after being pulled from World's End. Ask Brian Cage. I was there. You saw me. Just because Doc pulled me does not make you safe. You may be chosen, but I'm real. Whenever the next meeting happens, I swear to God, you will regret every syllable. That's a promise, little homie. Now, he was referencing Swerve Strickland, who he was scheduled to fight and wrestle at World's End on Long Island in Nassau Coliseum. Clearly, that match did not happen. In comes Dustin Rhodes, who was unsuccessful in defeating Swerve at World's End. In a post on social media, which came from a private account that House of Wrestling was asked not to share a link to, Lee gave the following update on his condition. Took roughly 19 years, but I guess it's my turn, he writes. Time to get fixed. Here's to double surgeries. Certainly one way to start 2024. Now, Lee did not provide any other details on his injuries or what surgeries he will be undergoing. House of Wrestling is working to find out more details and will bring them when they have an update on Keith Lee. You know, I wish him the best, man. I really do. With everything that happened coming out of WWE and joining AEW, the hype was there. The excitement was there. You saw the makings of what could have been the next main event guy in AEW, and it just never really materialized. And I wonder, obviously we all are going to blame creative. I wonder how much he could realistically do with the injuries that were basically mounting on top of each other. How much of that Keith Lee that we were all excited about, how much of that Keith Lee were we genuinely going to get? Doesn't sound like we were going to get a 100% Keith Lee. He might have been operating at 40, 50%, maybe even less than that. We don't even know. All I can say is I hope that he takes this year to really sit with himself, get better, get into the proper shape that he needs to get into, get his mind right, get back out there and be the Keith Lee that we loved in NXT. I know he's getting up there in age. He's not a youngster anymore. But my God, man, there is still value in Keith Lee, and I can't wait to see him back in action, honestly. So I wish him the best, and I am glad that he finally came to this decision to get whatever is wrong with him fixed. And I hope when he comes back, we get Keith Lee at 100%, man. Can't wait to see what he does, and I wish him nothing but the best with these double surgeries coming on up. Grayson Waller. This was going around on social media today. He nearly gets physical with a TV host in a tense exchange. Now, WWE will be in Australia, Perth, Australia, for the Elimination Chamber next month in the lead up to the huge show, which WWE, right now, they're boasting that it will be the biggest Elimination Chamber of all time. And, I mean, just the attendance figures that are coming on in, by that alone, it will be. This will be the first WWE event held in the country since 2019 as well. Various Australian stars like Rhea Ripley and Grayson Waller have made their way down under to promote the PLE across various local media outlets. Back in October, it was exclusively reported that Rhea Ripley was being praised internally for the vast amount of Australian media promotion that she has been doing for this show. That came from House of Wrestling. Now, Rhea Ripley will be on that show. She will not be wrestling Becky Lynch at that show, as I'm sure WWE will be saving that match for WrestleMania, as it is the biggest match that they can do coming out of the Monday Night Raw brand. I'm assuming that Rhea Ripley goes into the Elimination Chamber and has a one-on-one match with Nia Jax. Or they'll save that show for Liv Morgan, and they'll play up that storyline. And, you know, I know a lot of people are looking at Liv Morgan as a dark horse Royal Rumble pick, hoping that Liv Morgan goes to WrestleMania. I do not see that being the case. I don't think Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley really stands out as a WrestleMania 40 main event match. I don't see it. You may see it. You're wrong. I don't see it happening. But the Elimination Chamber, I'll take that. Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley over Nia Jax? Absolutely. 7 days out of the week, I take Liv Morgan. So hopefully that is the case. But we don't really know. It's going to be one of those two, and Becky Lynch will probably be saved for WrestleMania. Ahead of the show next month, Waller and LA Knight have been doing media rounds across the country as of late. Earlier today, they appeared on Sunrise, a breakfast news program, for a live interview that didn't exactly go according to plan. As the interview was wrapping up, the show's presenters asked LA Knight to hit his signature move on one of their floor managers, who was supposedly leaving later that week. Knight turned down the request, but quickly passed it over to Grayson Waller. The floor manager in question then appeared on camera and started mockingly putting his fists up in Waller's direction like some fucking comedy character. And John Cena's entrance music began to play in the studio, a scenario Waller did not take kindly to at all. Now, I'd play the clip, but because John Cena's theme music was being played, I don't want to get copyright struck. So I'll leave the link to the entire scenario down below in the description. I don't think you understand. If I come over there right now, we're going to have the police here because I'm not going to give you some fake punch, Waller exclaimed. I'm going to punch you straight in the jaw. The actual disrespect that you have even talking to me, you want to talk to me like this ain't real. Don't act all tough. Don't act all tough. We don't mess around with that stuff. Waller then turns his attention to Matt Shervington, one of the show's presenters, who he blasted for being disrespectful to both himself and LA Knight. He made it clear during his tirade, however, that he had no issue with the show's other presenter, Natalie Barr, after she protested that she hadn't tried to disrespect LA Knight or Grayson Waller. You too, Shervington, you're going to come here and try to disrespect us? Are you kidding me? You're all right, Natalie. We love you. No one thinks you're tough, Shervington. No one's ever thought you're tough, end quote. I watched this. I thought it was entertaining, to say the least. The guy doing this, let me at him, Scoob, like he was some fucking cartoon character. I mean, that was a little ridiculous. I mean, I hate those lowbrow cliches. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, man, wrestling's fake. No, it's not. Wrestling is not fake. Give me a fucking break. Wrestling is a scripted soap opera where the winners and losers are predetermined. Everything that they do in the ring is not fake. I don't understand that. I hate that word. I genuinely hate that word. And people that don't understand it, they do one of these things and they're like, oh yeah, he's not really punching him. He might not really be punching him, but everything else that's going on in there, the bumps that they take, the risks that they take, I mean, give me a break, man. Stop talking about shit that you don't really understand is what I think of when I look at these types of people. So, I said this on social media. Grayson Waller is so fucking good at what he does. Like, I wasn't sure if this was an act or if this was a legit shoot. At the end of the day, you know, he's standing there, sitting there with LA Knight. LA Knight didn't say a fucking word. LA Knight knows the position that he's in right now. He's in the main event, or one of the main events of the Royal Rumble with Roman Reigns. He just main evented Saudi Arabia with Roman Reigns for the world title. He doesn't want to push anybody's fucking buttons. He knows where he sits, and he's sitting good right now. But Grayson Waller, you know, WWE, they tend to take Grayson Waller and put him in these situations where they know he's going to rile some people up. It's going to get some reaction on social media, and they allow someone like Grayson Waller to do that. I don't think Grayson Waller's the type of guy, especially to go back home and cause a scene like this. And if I was a betting man, I would say this was all staged just to kind of get some traction and some interest on social media for the Elimination Chamber. But do they really need that? It definitely plays into Grayson Waller, who's basically at a non-factor on Friday night. But I enjoyed what I saw. Again, he's so good at what he does, I don't know if it was legit or a complete work. I don't know. So we'll see. I doubt anything comes of it, but people are talking about it. If you guys want to go check it out yourself, I'll leave you a link to the video down below in the description. You let me know what you think in the comment section. Samoa Joe, he addresses the CM Punk all-in incident with Jack Perry. Jack Perry, he attacked Shota Umino at New Japan Pro Wrestling Battle in the Valley. I'm a big fan of Jack Perry. Kind of think less of him now after the whole CM Punk fiasco. Nobody's going to give a fuck about Jack Perry over in New Japan when he comes back to AEW. I doubt anybody gives a shit about Jack Perry then at that point either. And I mean that no disrespect to Jack Perry. I think what happened at All In's going to kind of carry, you know, over into the rest of everything else that he does. But Samoa Joe addressed the CM Punk All In incident with Mark Raimondi of ESPN. Now, he says this in regards to the Jack Perry CM Punk fight. There was a little bit of an incident. We got it broken up. We went out there and wrestled, man. That's the gist of it. Everybody wants it to be a lot more than what it is, and that's what it is. And to speak any more on it would be pointless unless you're trying to get a scorecard and stuff. But trust me, it wasn't that type of fight. Raimondi then said it wasn't a big deal. Joe replied, well, not to me it wasn't. I've seen fights break out all the time. Stuff happens. But again, that's me. I've been in these situations. I've seen that. I find it funny when people are like, oh, Joe's cool with it. I mean, nah, man. It was a high-stress situation, sure. But I mean, it's one I've seen happen many times. We get it squashed out. We had a show to do. We had 81,035 fans waiting out there. And that was my focus because that's what it was about at the moment. We're about to go out and have the best night of our lives. End quote. Raimondi noted that many people said Joe was the voice of reason, something the world heavyweight champion Samoa Joe responded to by noting there was a mission ahead of them and everybody got focused. Joe is the type of guy you want in that locker room. Joe is the type of guy you want as your world champion. That's why he's the world champion right now. Samoa Joe is going to do great things, has done great things for AEW. And Samoa Joe's not going to give you the dirt or the info that you're seeking because who knows if he's under an NDA? Who knows if he's allowed to talk about it? There's nobody there that's allowed to talk about what happened. So you can ask. They can obviously dance around the question. You're never going to get any sort of info onto what happened or as to what happened that night backstage before Punk and Joe had the opening match of All In. You're not. I don't think we'll ever find out. It's the biggest black eye in the history of AEW. That and the All Out situation the year before that, where Punk buried half the fucking locker room and got into a fight with the Bucks. They're never going to escape it. It's going to be the bane of AEW's existence. And whether you like it or not, CM Punk in pro wrestling is best for business. I'm glad he's back with the WWE. Did I want him to leave AEW under these circumstances? Fuck no. I think AEW needed CM Punk. I do. I think AEW television was better with CM Punk backstage, creatively, his mind, his knowledge, and what he did on TV. Now he's with WWE. Their gain, AEW's loss. I don't really understand it. I'll never understand it. I think things got out of hand. I think all parties were guilty. But Jack Perry's going to be looked at as the reason why CM Punk is no longer with AEW. And I think, in turn, nobody's going to give a fuck about whatever Jack Perry's doing from this point on. And you're not going to hear a fucking peep out of what happened at All In or All Out or anything in between. You're not going to. So you can ask, and someone like Joe is not going to say a fucking word. I don't even know why we're still talking about it. Let's move on. They got bigger and much more important dealings to take care of in 2024. Not fucking All In and CM Punk and Jack Perry and the drama that happened in London. Let's move on. And finally, guys, Dustin Rhodes. Come on, man. Are you surprised? Are you surprised bigger brother is sticking up for little brother here? Dustin Rhodes weighed in on the debate of what should WWE do with the WrestleMania 40 main event. I understand people want to see The Rock versus Roman Reigns, but it's Cody's moment, he says. Now, the belief is that Rock and Roman will take place at WrestleMania. That's the belief within the community for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. Now, while speaking with Sports Illustrated, Dustin Rhodes shared his take on what the company should do with his brother, Cody Rhodes. He said Cody is on fire, and this is his time to be a top champion in WWE. I quote, I hope Cody's in the main event spot against Roman, or it's going to be The Rock. If it's The Rock, I'm pissed. This is Cody's time. He is becoming the face of the company, and it's paying off, but I get it. If it's The Rock, it's still good business. I understand that there are a lot of people who love seeing The Rock, but I still think this is Cody's moment, end quote. It's basically just a little excerpt from the article there. Basically, the gist of it is Dustin wants his brother to get what he feels he deserves, and that is the World Championship, a WrestleMania moment by beating Roman Reigns in the main event of WrestleMania 40. Now, we could sit here and argue back and forth, but my stance has not changed. My stance has not changed. Elimination Chamber, Australia, 60,000 people. Roman gets through Randy. Roman gets through LA Knight. Roman gets through AJ Styles. We then book Roman versus The Rock at the Elimination Chamber. Roman beats The Rock. Roman then goes to WrestleMania to wrestle Cody Rhodes in the main event of night 2. And Cody wins the World Championship, ending the reign of Roman Reigns. WrestleMania night 1, we'll see CM Punk and Seth Rollins. That is if CM Punk is good to go with Rollins, or I should say Rollins is good to go, and he's not injured. Punk hopefully will remain healthy coming out of the Royal Rumble and all WrestleMania season. The only other idea that I think would be beneficial if they did not want to do Rock and Roman at the Chamber is to do Rock and Roman night 1 and then Roman and Cody night 2. That's the only way that it would work otherwise. And I don't think people are really keen on that outcome either. I think it's simple as best here. Take the easiest road there. The easiest road is the most simple, and it makes the most sense. The fact that you have The Rock and a luxury to use him in front of 65,000 people at this Elimination Chamber show in Perth, Australia, you will never get another opportunity to do that for an Elimination Chamber type show. This match fits the bill. It fits the setting. Don't know why they wouldn't do it. Don't know why you would skip that show to blow up already perfect WrestleMania plans. But if they don't, a double main event with Roman Reigns seemingly is the way to go. But then you actively fuck CM Punk and Seth Rollins in the main event of night 1. But The Rock has been saying we're going to make history. We're going to do something we've never done before. I think there's a lot of meaning behind that. I don't know exactly what it is, but I think the double main event is probably something that would kind of lean into doing something unprecedented and something that's never been done before. So we'll see what happens, man. Rock, Roman, it's going to be a big discussion going on into the Elimination Chamber and on through WrestleMania season. Hopefully WWE makes the right decision, but clearly we know where Dustin Rhodes lies. Cody should win the title at Mania against Roman. Thank you guys very much for all your support. If you did enjoy today's Off the Script, please hit that thumbs up. Thank you so very much for all of your support this week. I definitely need it. Tonight, I'll be live with the Chi-Town Smark, Jesse for the AEW Dynamite post show right here on Off the Script. Hook challenges Samoa Joe for the AEW World Championship, and Christian Cage defends the TNT title against Dustin Rhodes tonight on Dynamite. Go and check out all the other content on the channel. We were live on Monday for Raw. Tuesday Night Titans episode 30 was live with Andrew Baydala last night. Great discussion. Go and check that out. And make sure you guys check out all the extra content on the channel as well. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for notifications. Please hit that thumbs up. Let's try for 1,000 likes right here on Off the Script. And go and check my sponsor for today's show, Magic Minds. Thank you to them for sponsoring the show right here on Off the Script. Guys, I'll see you tonight live for AEW Dynamite on Off the Script. I'll see you guys later.